waiting. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel it, we'll take in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel it, we'll take in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Good evening. It's May 13th of 2023. My name, it's about going on 4 to 6. I'm going to make this go live at 7. I'm Chris Gudgelo. I'm an associate broker and licensed referral specialist for Realty Connect LLC. And this is my weekly podcast, Real Estate with Mr. G. And I also have a blog that is updated at least 5 times a week. And that is Real Estate with Mr. G .blog. Okay. And so it was an interesting week. We know that the feds have raised the federal fund rate again, 1/4 point. It seems that the inflation is kind of holding back a little bit now, which is some good news. But the economy is still strong. We have jobs being created. That talk of recession, I don't see that happening right now. And we'll get further into that after I do my little introduction, okay? So I am able to help you, assist you in finding a house or listing a house within the 50 states of the United States of America, okay? And what you do, you can either contact me or you go to my website, Real Estate with Mr. G .us, because I'm serving the entire U.S. And you enter your information, and you will be presented with up to 3 agents that will help you with your real estate goals. And you choose the one that you feel the most comfortable with, which is, I think it's a nice thing. And these are all agents who are very successful and the top agents in their field. So it's a good thing. I'm going to be marketing for them. I'm no longer personally showing homes or listing homes. I'm sort of kind of like semi-retired, let's put it that way. And I just want to do the marketing because I enjoy marketing. I really do. and you could tell by well, you've been watching my podcast. You could see that I enjoy making videos and different posts and so forth. So let me show my video about who I am and what I'm about, and we'll take it from there. And I know that sounds like well, actually, it's called. I believe it's called the last Western song. I know it sounds like a Western. I just like the music. I like Westerns, and it represents, from the mountains and the prairies. Going from North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, to Brooklyn, New York. All throughout America. I can help you. Okay, I can help you. All right. So, with that in mind, let's get into today's topic, and let's have. I think her name is Aubrey, and she's going to ask the question for today. Here she is.
Hi, Mr. G, and thanks for allowing me on your video podcast. With the high inflation we are experiencing now, how will they affect the already rising mortgage rates? Also, any chance in the future mortgage rates will go down? Please advise. Loving your show. It has been most informative and fun.
Thank you, Avery, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name. I said Aubrey, and it's Avery. Okay, and that's a very good question, and thanks for sending that in. And I'm gonna show an article first that I believe that came out about today's the 13th, about 2 days ago, about interest rates, and they actually came down a little bit. And again, when the Federal Reserve raises the Fed fund rate, that does not directly affect the mortgage rates. It's sort of indirectly, but it's usually an indicator that they will go up. But if I think with interest rates, with mortgages, they kind of, from a day-to-day basis, like they flicker back and forth a little bit. And so there's some days you'll get a better rate, it'll be an eighth of a point lower, and that's how it is. And if by the time you go into contract with a house and your mortgage loan officer feels that the present rate is out there, that is really good, they'll lock you into the rate. So you could use that and use it for calls. So even if it goes up, as long as you close within a certain time period, you'll get that rate. Okay. I think it locks it in for 60 days. So that's a good thing. And let's take a look at that article. And one of the sources I use is Housing Wire. And Housing Wire is well, actually, I get both the online version, and then about like quarterly, they send me out a hard copy of what's going on in both the uh, mortgage and real estate industries. And so it's geared for the mortgage and real estate professional, and I like it as a source. So let's open that one up and take a look at it. Yeah, so this actually came out. Today is the 13th, so this came out 2 days ago. Mortgage rates continue recent sideways trend, Freddie Mac is saying. So 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 6.35% as of May 11th. So it was actually, I can't use my highlighter here, but if you see the mouse tail going through. So the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 6.35% as of May 11th, down 4 basis points from 6.39%. The same rate was at 5.30% on average a year ago at this time. But 2 years ago, or going more than a year ago, they were around 3%. So that's a big difference. So you're up over 3% on your mortgage rates. That's a big difference. So going down to this paragraph here, overall inflation cooled further in April. The consumer price index rose 4.9% year over year before seasonal adjustment, according to the Bureau of Labor of Statistics. This is the 10th consecutive month of declines to the lowest levels in 2 years. So we're actually pulling the reins on inflation, and that's a good thing. It's a slow process. It's not like it's going to go down dramatically, and where most people feel it, I mean, besides your mortgage rates, right, and your rates for car loans. Of course, when you go to the supermarket and your grocery bill is a bit more right now. So they're saying here that Zhu, an economist, highlighted that the U.S. economy is moving in the right direction, but a slower pace than desired by the Fed, with inflation at a double the 2% target. Okay, so again, it's going down. It's going down slower. It would be nice if the inflation would go down faster, but that's just the way it is. So Zhu, and I hope I'm saying his name correct, XU, says that as long as the economy continues to see progress on inflation, it is expected that mortgage rates will remain toward the lower end of the 6 to 7% range. But buyers and sellers are still being affected by this because, a lot of sellers, this is from another article I read, a lot of sellers refinanced their mortgages like 2 years ago when it was at 3%. So even though they're considering selling their home and putting it in the market, but they're saying to themselves, hey, I have a nice mortgage, it's 3%. If I buy something now, it's going to be around 6.35%. That's a big difference with my new house. And most situations, if I'm younger, in most situations, I'm buying a house that's a step up, and step up in the sense of square footage, and maybe the amount of rooms. Okay, and of course, those homes will be more expensive. If I'm older, I might be looking to downsize, so that might not hurt as much because I'm looking for a smaller home. But for a younger person, they're probably looking to get a bigger space. which of course will cost more money. Now, this all stays in place, and I don't want to be, you know, a person to bring bad news. I'm trying to think of the one from Saturday Night Live, Debbie Downer. Yeah, Debbie Downer. But all of this is dependent upon us not defaulting on our obligations. I'm talking about the federal government. And right now, the employment rate is good, and the unemployment rate is down. If we default, don't forget the federal government employs a lot of people, especially the military. We might see a recession if people are laid off. There are less projects that will be set up by the government. So it's going to affect the economy. It always seems that we have always, after even, keeping our ground and saying whichever party that we're talking about, whether Democrat or Republican, if they say, no, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling. And then it goes on for about a couple of weeks, and then they usually do. I'm going to assume that the debt ceiling will be risen, to set it higher, but it's possible for the future. Republicans are asking for cutbacks. Just pray it's not Social Security, Medicaid, and education. If they could find cutbacks elsewhere, that would be good, but we need those things. So going to this article here is on my blog. So keeping its inflation-fighting streak alive, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates for the 10th time in 10 meetings. The hikes aim to cool an economy that were on fire after rebounding from the coronavirus recession of 2020. While the Fed's actions don't directly dictate what happens with mortgage rates, their decisions do have an impact and contribute to the intentional cool down in the housing market. Okay? So how does that affect you? Well, if indeed the Fed is successful, it could also ultimately lead to lower mortgage rates and better home buying affordability for you. That's because when inflation is high, mortgage rates tend to be high. But as inflation cools, experts say mortgage rates will likely fall. Okay? So there are a couple of quotes. This is from Lawrence Yun. He is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. Mortgage rates are likely to descend lower later in the year as the consumer price inflation calms down. But then it ends here, which we're saying, which I got a kick out of this. While there's no way to say with certainty where mortgage rates will go from here, the experts think mortgage rates will trend down this year if inflation comes down too. Okay, so there's this balancing act right now, and the biggest stumbling block we got to get through right now is this debt ceiling and raising it so America could pay its bill and be in business, basically, in business. All right, so that's important. So when we had the pandemic and people had actually a lot more money because they weren't going on vacation, right? They weren't going to the theater, which in New York is well over $100 per ticket. They weren't eating out. Okay, so they're not dropping $150, $200 every weekend. And so they had extra money. And with mortgage rates being low, they said, let's buy a home. And that has changed. But in that time period of that pandemic, it's like there was a lot of good sales out there, right with that low mortgage rate. And people are saying, yeah, okay, I think I'm going to be in the market for buying a house. So more people went into the market, and then we had unbelievable competition for homes, and with a small amount of inventory out there, because people were afraid to put their houses on the market because of COVID-19. But now times are different, and we hopefully, I'm knocking on wood, we're out of it. Okay, I had a doctor's appointment last month. It was the first time I went to the doctor's, which is actually in part of a medical building, a hospital, where we didn't have to wear our mask. It was done. So what's going on right now with the extremely high rates? I don't want to say extremely high. I shouldn't have said that. Higher than usual, than it was, and high home prices. The person who was looking for a great deal, that person is out of the market, all right? It's like at the end of the year, the cars that were sold for that year, that were made in that year, let's say it's 2023, when we get to the end of this year, all of those will be on sale to make room for the new ones, the 2024 ones. And a lot of people who will wait for that time period, right, when there's a lot of good sales. And even if they don't need a new car, they'll say, all right, let me see what's out there. It's the end of the year. Let's see if there's a lot of good sales out there. And they'll buy it. And that's what's happening right now. Now, the buyers that are in the market are the ones who really, they have to purchase. It could be for many, many different reasons. All right? Persons in the military, and they've been sent to another part of the country, and they want to buy a house instead of rent, all right? Or persons on a job transfer, people who get divorced, whatever. People who, they're fed up with their landlord, they're their first-time home buyers, and they really want to buy, they don't want to pay money on these high rents, okay? So if you're in that situation, there are ways to work around, your mortgage loan officer will try to get you the best mortgage package to hopefully give you a very comfortable monthly payment, okay? And your realtor will hopefully get you the best deal on the property, okay? But it's a tough time for the buyer still. And I don't want to discourage you, but I'm saying there's a lot more skills involved for you to get the best deal, okay? So you need to speak to your realtor. You need to speak to your loan officer and go over all the options, okay? All right. So we're into 24 minutes here. Let me close this out here. If my mouse tail will come down here, I don't know why it's okay. Look here. Okay, there we go. We got rid of that. Let me come back up here. Nice big screen of me, and I have a little video on tips when you are buying a home. Okay. So basically, what I said, it was reinforced in that video. Talk with your realtor that you're using. If you're working for me, I could help you and send you off to the realtor that would actually either show you properties or list your homes. And in this case, you're getting two for the price of one. And if you're a buyer, you're not even paying for it because it's paid by the seller. So that's most important. If you need a little more background help, you could go to my blog and you could download for free Things to Consider When Buying a Home, the Spring 2023 edition, as well as the Things to Consider When Selling Your Home, the 2023 Spring edition. These come out quarterly, probably by, I would say, the beginning of next month. We should be having the summer one come out. So that should be coming out soon. Okay? And where do you get these wonderful things? You go to my blog and you see down over here, realestatewithmrg.blog/resource-materials. And you don't even have to type all that. If you go to my blog and you'll see the menu there with different tabs, and you could just click on resource materials from there. Okay? And that will help you, guide you. These are called guides. So they will guide you in your selling and listing a home. All right, let me get rid of that. Okay, now my regular producer, William Burgess, is out of town, so we're going to have Avery introduce. We happen to have a guest, a celebrity in the audience. Is that true, Avery?
Hi, Mr. G, and thanks for allowing me on your video podcast. With the high inflation we are experiencing now.
Okay, that was. I'm sorry. Try this one. So Avery. We have a person in the audience, a celebrity.
Thanks, Mr. G, for letting me fill in for William Burgess, your producer. Great news. We have a celebrity in the audience. It is the patent dog transformator who can transform store-bought hot dogs into actual pooches. Hope you enjoy.
Well, thank you, Avery, for letting us know there was a famous performer in our audience. Okay, so I think I did everything I wanted to do. It was just right below 30 minutes. I really don't want to go over 30 minutes. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next Saturday at 7 p.m. for Real Estate with Mr. G, and with a brand new topic. And always remember. It's not. I was forgetting. I just wanted to get my next video up. The greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift, each other. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.